Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Thank you, sir.
So, morning, Animesh.
Good morning, sir.
So, congratulations on having reached up to this stage.
Thank you, sir.
How are you feeling today?
Sir, I'm feeling fine, sir. Thank you for asking.
Good. So, when is your interview?
Sir, it is on 10th February.
10th February. Okay, good. And you appeared in the interview earlier in 2022 as well.
Yes, sir.
What was the score at that time?
I scored 199 marks that year, sir.
189.
199.
19. Okay, good. So, Animesh, introduce yourself to the board.
Sure, sir. Good morning, sirs. My name is Animesh Mishra. I hail from Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh. I have done my bachelor's in civil engineering from IIT Guwahati. And after graduation, sir, I started to prepare for the civil service examination. Back in my college days, sir, I have been an avid debater and I also have some experience in academic research as well. And so in my free time, I like to read non-fiction books and follow international politics, sir.
Good. So, Animesh, you come from Gorakhpur.
So,
How many districts are there in Uttar Pradesh?
so 75 districts are there.
75 districts. Okay. And why Gorakhpur is called Gorakhpur?
Sir, the name essentially originates from the famous Nath Sampradaya and the saint of the Nath Sampradaya, Gorakhnath. And so from there itself, the name derives itself. There is also the mutt in Gorakhpur named as the Gorakhnath Mandir. So that is the origin of the name, sir, of the city.
Very recently, a new state-of-art university has been planned for being set up in Gorakhpur. Can you tell me?
Sir, please can you repeat the...
A latest state-of-art university
I see, sir.
is going to be set up in Gorakhpur.
Sir, are you referring to the AIMS Gorakhpur?
No.
Sir, I may have to look
We'll
into it,
get
sir.
back to that. Okay.
Sure, sir.
So, why did you choose PSIR as your optional?
Sir, I would say that the first reason was that during my college days itself, I had developed interest in international politics. And so that was something that used to fascinate me as a subject and as a discipline, sir.
Okay.
And so second was that I felt that when I'm getting into the civil service and perhaps it will take a little time to be in this domain, I might as well take a domain which would expand my intellectual horizon and get me a theoretical understanding of this discipline, sir. And also because I wanted to pursue foreign service as well, sir. So perhaps that would also be helpful. So this was the reasoning, sir.
Okay. So, Bangladesh,
So,
who according to you is going to emerge as the front runner for the PM's job in Bangladesh? And why?
sir, I would say that based on the current developments that have happened, I would say the acting president of BNP, Tariq Rahman, is certainly a front runner, sir. But my assessment also is, sir, that perhaps they may also be, I would say, the Jamaat-e-Islami playing an important role, not in terms of getting number of seats, but certainly in terms of creating influence. And so, but certainly, sir, in terms of leader, I would say Tariq Rahman would be the front runner, sir.
So, what would be the impact on India-Bangladesh relations?
So I would say that there are two dimensions to this, sir. First is based on the historical evidence of how the BNP has been postured towards India. And there we have seen evidence of how they have been cozy to the Islamists and the radicals in Bangladesh. And they have not been particularly sympathetic towards India's security concerns. There have been instances where Ulfa militants and other militants have been finding shelter in Bangladesh, sir. So that is historically, sir, based on the Khalida Zia's that. And perhaps, sir, I would say there is certainly an apprehension that perhaps that may continue even at this point in time, sir. Having said this, sir, I would still say that based on the current developments that have happened, for example, Dr. S. Jaishankar ji visiting Tariq Rahman, and apart from that, Defense Minister also visiting Bangladesh, and the warm reception that has happened, shows that perhaps there would be also a pragmatic, I would say, recalibration on the Bangladeshi part as well, sir. So I would say that we have to wait and watch and hope for the best, sir.
Okay. So, when is Union Budget going to be presented?
So it will be in the budgetary session, which is the 1st February. It is.
Okay. So, just tell me,
So
very briefly, how a budget is presented in Parliament?
So budget is the annual financial statement, and for that, the first thing that is done is the finance minister presents it to the parliament on behalf of the president of India. And so essentially first is the stage of introduction of the budget, where the budget is introduced by which is essentially the speech of the honorable finance minister. Second, sir, is the stage.
What is the first stage in the presentation of the budget as per other parliamentary norms? What is the first thing which is done? So the president addresses joint session of the parliament.
Yes, sir.
Step
Yes,
number one. Next.
Yes, sir. And then the finance minister then presents the budget, sir. And then
Where does she present? Does she present in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha?
so it is in the Lok Sabha where it is done, sir, because Lok Sabha has the power of purse. So, but then later on it is also introduced in the Rajya Sabha as well, where they discuss the budget, but they don't have the voting power on the budget, sir.
What kind of a bill is budget? Is it a money bill?
So,
Okay, my last question. You did in civil engineering. Name 5 civil engineering marvels of the recent past.
So I would say the first would be the tallest building in the world, which is Burj Khalifa, which is there, sir. Second, I would
No,
say...
you talk about in India.
Okay, sir, sure, sir. So the first would be the Chennai bridge, that is the part of the Udhampur, Baramulla, Srinagar railway link. Second, sir, I would say is the Atal Setu as well, that is constructed in Maharashtra, sir. Third, I would say, sir, I would point to, there is also, in general, sir, I would say that the Bharatmala and the Sagarmala projects that are being constructed, for example, the expressways that are being built, for example, in UP itself, the Purvanchal Expressway or the Ganga Expressway would also be a civil engineering marvel, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Animesh.
Sure, sir.
Animesh, you are a student of political science, right? We understand physics, chemistry, botany, geology as science. How political science becomes a science?
Sir, in the traditional sense of the term, certainly political science would not be a science, because unlike other sciences which has symbols and formulas which are used to understand the physical world, political science certainly does not follow that norm, sir. But having said this, sir, if we look at the philosophy, which is that in terms of the systematic approach to political problems and understanding them in a very systematic way, so certainly that could be considered, based on that, we can consider it as science, sir.
Okay. You are a civil engineer from IIT, right? What is Vishveshwaraya plan? Who was Vishveshwaraya?
Sir, he was the Diwan of Mysore, and he was also someone who is known for constructing, first is the planning of the Mysore city was done by him, sir. Second, sir, he is also known for constructing the Krishna Sagar dam that was there. And also there was an automatic flood control system that he had developed, which he had not patented. So that is also his contribution.
What was his plan?
So in the context of city planning?
There is some plan called Vishveshwaraya plan.
I may have to look into it, sir. I'm not aware.
Okay. You have done a project on land filling also, right? In Delhi, I don't know you have seen or not, there are 3-4 piles of garbage. How to get rid of any solution can you offer on that?
Sir. So the problem in Delhi is a very, I would say, complex issue, sir. And we have to start right from the household itself, which is we have to start with the source segregation and reduction of waste at the source itself. Indore model showcases that actually leads to a very tangible dividend, sir. Second, sir, is at a macro level, we have to divide Delhi into waste management zones. And every waste management zone has to have its own plan in terms of how to manage the waste.
You see, point is all damage we have done already.
Yes.
Now there are piles of the garbage all around. What to do with them now?
Yes, sir. For that, sir, I would say the first is that we have to go for first is the waste stabilization, because these are places where a lot of chemicals are being emitted. For example, methane, which is very toxic. So waste stabilization has to be done. Second, sir, is that now we have to transfer these to either waste energy plants, which can be used for generating some form of energy for local community, or based on the type, we can also send it for material recovery facility. We can use it for pelletization, which can then be used for thermal power plants, sir. So I would say more based on the type of waste that is present, whether it is gila kachara or sukha kachara. Based on that, we have to formulate a plan of action, sir.
Can you use fertilizer also, as a fertilizer also?
So it would depend, because if the biodegradable waste is present, most of the time, sir, in Delhi, the segregation is not done properly. So the gila kachra and the sukha kachra is mixed. So sometimes that will become a problem for us to utilize it as fertilizer. But if there is place where pure the biodegradable waste is present, then certainly we can transfer it to city composting facilities to develop fertilizer, sir.
You have keen interest in international affairs, right? See, why US should poke its nose in every other corner of the world, wherever there is a problem, we have the link with the US. Why should US do that? Russia doesn't do that.
So I would concur with the honorable board member that perhaps the interventionist approach that US has, perhaps that is something which is problematic, because we have seen it historically as well. The bombings in, for example, in Libya or Syria or Afghanistan, the invasion in Afghanistan, all of that has not solved the problem which they at least intended formally on addressing, but rather has aggravated the problem, sir. So I would say the world will actually be much better off if the US does not go around unilaterally.
Why should they do it? What's the purpose?
So the first I would say is the ideological reason, sir. I would say that right from 2000s, there was a neoconservative ideology that spreading democracy around the world would make the world a better place and a safer place. So that ideological impetus was there, sir. Second, sir, I would say is, if I look at the Western Hemisphere itself, there is a Monroe Doctrine which essentially argues that US must have very strong influence in Western Hemisphere. So therefore, we see the ways in which US has intervened in the Latin American nations, sir. So I would say these are the two broad reasons why US keeps intervening, sir.
Okay, last question. We say we don't have good relations with Pakistan, or we have good relations with China, etc. On what parameters we decide the relations between two countries?
So in the specific context of Pakistan, sir.
Any country, any two countries, what are the parameters on we say this country has no good relation with this country or doesn't have good relation with that country? What are those things?
So the first I would say is that both the nations must have a basic understanding of each other's sensitivities and each other's complementarities. Sensitivities in the sense that there are some red lines that India has. For example, so the Kashmir issue, or for example, the territorial inviolability of India. And if there is a country that constantly violates those principles, which are very inalienable to India, then it certainly shows that they don't respect India's core interests, sir. Second, sir, is that there is also a sense of complementarity that nations have. For example, we can have economic relations, we can have cultural relations, we can have people-to-people relations. So that is an aspect that actually showcases a very strong relation that one has with the other countries. So these are the two broad parameters, sir. Thank you, sir.
Animesh,
Sir.
first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, PSIR in your doctor.
Sir.
I saw that you just asked your question of PSIR.
Sir.
You see, Iran, Russia, China,
Sir.
America feel it is a threat for Middle East.
Sir.
How Iran is a threat to Middle East? Does it have any power?
So I would say that in terms of comprehensive national power, certainly Iran does not have that kind of influence. It has a very modest economy, sir. But so there are certain areas where certainly which creates threats for the US, sir. First is the potential for Iran having nuclear weapons, which can destabilize the region, lead to nuclearization of Middle East, and therefore can have other trickling down effects, sir. Second, sir, is that if we look at the ideological outlook of Iran, sir, they have a very clear outlook that, for example, in the context of Israel, they want to wipe out Israel, even though they don't say it explicitly, but certainly there is an ideological impetus to that as well. And since US has a very close relations with Israel, there is also I would say, inclination towards containing Israel and having restraining its power. So these are the two broad reasons, sir.
What actions have they taken so that Iran does not become a nuclear power?
Sir, a series of steps were taken, sir, over the course of US administration. I would say the first was the Obama administration's JCPOA, which was aimed at having essentially preventing the enrichment facilities of the Iranians, sir, and putting their nuclear facilities under the IAEA safeguards. Secondly, sir, under the Trump administration also, there is a focus that is given, sir, on ensuring that the IAEA and the other safeguards will not work. Therefore, coercive measures will be taken. So therefore, we saw the bombing that was done in certain places in Iran to essentially put their nuclear development, that's research and development, at to contain their nuclear development. So these are the broadly two aspects.
Between there's some scientists and virus also in the computer matter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One more thing, you must have heard of new strategic security policy issued by USA
So,
about 10 years back.
yes, sir.
What impact does it have on your, because it has a lot of new things and new thought process.
Yes, sir. So in the specific context of Europe, I would say the first is that there is a cultural dimension to how the US is viewing Europe, sir. They talk about the idea of civilizational erasure and how their civilizational identity is essentially being eroded because of the immigration that is being done, sir, and the internal policies that the European nations are following in terms of free speech being impacted and other things, sir. Second, sir, is that at the same time, although the cultural dimension remains very salient, economically and I would say militarily, US has been very clear that they don't want to support or subsidize the European security. Therefore, the idea of increasing the defense budget and making Europe independent as well, without necessarily withdrawing themselves from the transatlantic relation, is something that US has been focusing on. Third answer is the economic relation as well. They believe that Europe has not been fair. So,
Is Europe comfortable with remaining member of NATO now, with US widely distancing itself? And there are differences in Ukraine also between US and European Union.
So I would say that Europe actually has an interest, deep vested interest in ensuring that they stay part of NATO. So first is that it is, I would say, the only
Europe
architect.
has interest, but because of the US trying to distance itself from its obligations,
So,
and now they have brought out new threats, with Russia is downgraded, China is downgraded, Iran has become number one.
so certainly, sir, that poses a threat to the NATO architecture, sir. And that is why, sir, we are seeing that Europeans are actually focusing on increasing their own defense expenditure. So, for example, Germany rearmament, that is one of the biggest phenomenons, I would say, of the recent part, where they are now moving towards increasing their own military independence. Likewise, sir, there is also a PESCO approach in the NATO, which is the permanent security cooperation, which makes it.
Now also to economy, right?
Sure, sir.
You see, Indian, we have only 4 largest. What are the risks involved? We are trying to become third largest.
So,
What are the risks involved in the present, in the becoming the third largest? Everything is going good. There are a lot of challenges.
so indeed, sir. So the first, I would say, at a macro level, we have the challenge of the tariff headwinds that are coming, sir. And this is not just in the context of the US, but we are seeing that overall, there is an increasing protectionist tendencies that are being developed. For example, in the European Union as well, the carbon border mechanism that was there, and other nations also turning protectionist. So in that turbulent period, sir, we have to now navigate our relations. Second, sir, is the aspect related to, I would say, although the macroeconomic credentials are very sound, sir, in the context of the growth rates, in the terms of inflation as well, sir, but the uncertainty in West Asia, for example, sir, the potential conflict can actually lead to imported inflation and other problems in our current account deficit, sir. So these are two, I would say, macro issues that can come. So these are external, but certainly if we have sound policies, we can address them, sir.
Well done.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Animesh,
Sir.
you're very interesting, fascinating mind. What
Thank you.
does it mean?
So the word Animesh, the literal meaning is unblinking eye. Unblinking eye, sir. Unblinking eye. And the connotation of it is, sir, essentially to the Buddhist philosophy, sir. Where, sir, Lord Buddha, after attaining nirvana, was in Animesh mudra. And he was staring at the Bodhi tree for a few days after attaining nirvana. And that is why it is called as the Animesh Lochan Chaitya as well as present there, sir.
Right, very nice. See, you belong to UP.
Sir.
What is the contribution of UP in India to GDP?
So it is somewhere around 6% of the overall, sir. So
It's about 8%.
yes, sir. 8%, sir.
So, and what about the per capita income of UP? Where does it stand vis-a-vis India's per capita income?
So it is around 1.08 lakh per year, and vis-a-vis India, sir, so India is somewhere around 1.8 lakh, around 2 lakh rupees per year, sir. So it is certainly less than India's average, sir.
Much less.
Yes, sir,
What
indeed,
the
sir.
reasons?
So the first I would say is the historical reason, I would say, sir, because UP historically has been one of the areas where the worst forms of colonial atrocities had happened. For example, the permanent settlement problem, the peasants who were completely, I would say, they didn't have the ways in which land revenue were taken, sir. All of that led to the very crippling of the agrarian base itself. As a result of this, UP, which is completely dependent on agriculture, could not, I would say, grow, sir. That is historical reason, sir. Second, sir, is that there has been an unbalanced development in UP also, sir. The west in UP has developed more, but so there are places like Bundelkhand, the Purvanchal region, which could not develop, sir. And third, sir, I would say is that the lack of adequate infrastructure development, expressways or sir, roads, which are very important for economic development, wasn't as high as compared to places like Gujarat, for example, or other places, sir, where because of that, they led to exports and other industrial development, sir. So I would say these are the three salient reasons.
But many industries which were set up by EP
So,
eventually failed. One of them is ITA, the government's own setup, failed miserably. In an era where the electronics was a order of the day.
so.
So what were the reasons? Even the industrial climate in the UP, was it proper?
So are you referring to the 90s period where, sir, this was?
Even today,
So I would say that, with all due respect, I would like to have a slightly different opinion. So I would say that, indeed, there was a time when, as I mentioned, sir, because of lack of adequate infrastructure, the skilled manpower was not available, and also the general law and order climate, which acted as a deterrent for investments, sir. But sir, of late, sir, for example, if we look at Noida, which has the largest Samsung factory, sir, and apart from that, now the interest being shown in terms of the defense corridor also, and other industries which are now following the suit, sir. I would say the things are slowly changing in terms of UP's economic development and factories, sir, specifically, sir.
perfect. Very recently, a very prominent Indian personality
Sir,
made a statement which is quite detrimental to the civil services. Last couple of days.
yes. So are you referring to the statement made by the member of PM's Economic Advisory Council? So yes, sir.
To Sanjay Sada's statement.
Indeed, sir.
What is the statement? How do you perceive it?
So I have not read the complete podcast where he had mentioned that. So I've only read that he has said that UPSC is a waste of time. And he was saying this in the context of the larger, I would say, developments that are happening in the world of AI and how, sir, but sir, I have not followed exactly what was the context of that statement, sir.
Okay. Since you have been a student, you mentioned that you have been a student of international relations.
Yes, sir.
You were very fascinated during your
Indeed, sir.
BTech years, in IIT.
Yes, sir.
Which is quite odd.
Yes.
The IIT that you met is more technological in nature, no?
Indeed, sir.
So, nevertheless, you must have been following developments in Pakistan very closely.
So,
How do you see the developments in Pakistan? What are those developments which are of interest to India?
so, so of late, I would say that the first developments would be with regards to the power of military increasing after the 27th Amendment Act that has happened there, sir, which goes on to show that now constitutionally itself, military will have a very salient role to play in politics, sir. Second, sir, I would say is with regards to the internal challenges that Pakistan itself is facing, whether it is in Balochistan, whether it is with regards to the TTP that is present in the with regards to the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, sir. So that is the second thing that can be of concern for India, sir. And so third, I would say is the general economic condition in Pakistan. They are IMF dependent. They're also dependent on the Chinese, sir. So that also is something which India should watch closely, sir.
But there are some other underlying developments also. So this is what the media shows.
Yes, sir.
There are other underlying developments like
Imran
Khan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That.
What are the people's perception?
Yes, sir.
The way his party was
Indeed,
not allowed to contest.
indeed, sir. Yes, sir.
Some references of the judiciary also.
Indeed, sir.
There is a saying quite popular since you are from the international affiliation. You say east is east and west is west, and that thing shall happen.
Yes, sir.
Though it is a literary
Yes, sir.
concept.
Yes, sir.
How do you perceive it?
So this was a statement made very long time back by Mark Twain, sir. But I would say that the salience of it still remains because first reason is that philosophically, sir, I would say that East and West are very different from one another. West looks at things from a very dichotomous point of view, good, bad, evil, and divine. Whereas in Indian context, sir, or I would say the Eastern context, there's a continuum. Gray and there's gray areas, sir. Bad and evil does not exist. So that is the first aspect, sir. Second, sir, is that the Western society is essentially individualistic society, whereas the Eastern societies are communitarian societies that believe very strongly in societal values and hierarchy, and also a sense of a social fraternity, sir, which West does not have. But at the same time, sir, I would say if you look at India and how it has been able to assimilate both the liberal values of the West as well as the, I would say, the civilizational values of our history, sir. I would say India perhaps is a meeting point of East and West, sir, in that sense, sir.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Animesh,
Sir.
your Monu Samson fellowship award for undergraduate thesis on sanitary and
Sir.
So can you just brief about that thesis? What does it?
So essentially, our work was concentrated in the northeastern region, sir, where essentially the water tables are higher, and whenever a landfill site is made, sir, there is always percolation of leachate that happens, a liquid that is formed in the landfill system, and they percolate into the groundwater. So our study was essentially to understand how this percolation happens, what are the impact that it has on the groundwater aquifer, and how perhaps we can model it to prevent these things in the future, sir. So that was our work, sir.
So what is the meaning of thesis? What is a thesis? You mentioned thesis. What does it mean? Thesis means what?
So thesis is essentially, I would say, a set of ideas, or rather a set of a set of ideas or principles that we believe would exist, and we then use research to then find out the veracity of it, sir. So that was the idea of thesis, sir.
Okay, fine, good. So you're good at competitive debating.
Indeed, sir.
Right. So debate against lateral entry into civil services.
Again, can I take a few seconds, sir?
Please.
Thank you, sir. We essentially live in a very different paradigm in India, a paradigm where the bureaucracy is a steel frame. A bureaucracy ought to be impersonal, and the bureaucracy ought to be an institution which upholds the values of the constitution and must have institutional integrity. This is the paradigm which our founding fathers had envisaged. And in that context, the side opposition would argue that the lateral entry actually vitiates that notion of the founding fathers' vision. First is that the impermanent bureaucracy essentially becomes personalized bureaucracy. Appointments of lateral entry will end up being done by the political appointees, and as a result of this, the impersonality of the bureaucracy will get impacted. Second, the argument that the proposition will make is with regards to specialization. But even that does not stand, because the bureaucracy itself has a lot of specialized cohorts. They have engineers, they have research scientists, they have other people who can contribute as well. Therefore, having lateral entry to the post of joint secretary may not necessarily be the way forward. And third is that even though we can have other forms of systems where we can engage, for example, the research and think tanks could be engaged, but inculcating them inside the bureaucracy is something that is deeply problematic, and therefore the side opposition will oppose the view, sir.
Okay. So have you heard of halwa ceremony before budget?
Yes, sir.
So what is it? What is the purpose of halwa ceremony before budget? Now budget is around the corners, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, the halwa ceremony is essentially the tradition that is followed in Ministry of Finance, sir, where all the people who are involved in the budget, before the budget is announced, they have this halwa where the finance minister and other ministers, as well as the senior officials and other
To people or to officers?
So I'm not sure. I will have to look into it.
Okay, fine. So You are very much fascinated about international politics, international affairs,
So-
right? So, Trump, to which party he belongs?
So Republican Party, sir.
Okay, so according to you, which party being power in the US, be it a Democratic or Republic, would favor India's interests?
So I would say that India has a bipartisan consensus in US, sir. So both the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party, there is a broad outlook that having good relations with India is something that is in the interest of the US. We see this in the context of George Bush, for example, who was pivotal in the Indo-US nuclear deal. Later on, Obama administration and also Joe Biden played a very important role in strengthening Indo-US ties, sir. So therefore, I would say there is a bipartisan consensus over India's relations, sir. And even today, we see that even Republican Party's members have said that perhaps having a good relations with India is important, and perhaps President Trump should temper down his rhetoric and the tariff aspects, sir. So I would say both the parties are certainly important for it.
Relatively, if you have to mention this party is all better or this party is not better, right? Relatively, can you give a comparative perspective? Which party is more favorable to India's interests? You say only yes or one single answer.
A single party, sir, it's very hard because, sir, both the parties have offered challenges. So, Democratic Party, for example, the intervention in India's human rights issues and in India's internal affairs was something that India was very particularly concerned. But at the same time, so the Republican Party of late has also been putting, I would say, challenge with regards to the economic aspects. So it would be hard to point, sir, which party would be certainly beneficial for India. So both the parties have their own set of challenges, sir.
Okay, fine. So you are mentioning about the Monroe Doctrine, right?
Indeed, sir. Yes, sir.
So what is India's Monroe Doctrine?
Sir, I think, although sir, it is not often used, the India's Monroe Doctrine as a term, sir, but essentially it implies that at least in the neighborhood that we have and in the larger Indo-Pacific, sir, India must at least have some form of influence, sir.
I'll give a clue. Indira's Monroe Doctrine.
I see, sir. Yes, I would say that if we look at Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji's outlook with regards to Monroe Doctrine, certainly, sir, it was important because the first is that there was a constant fear that perhaps India may have both Pakistan as well as the East Pakistan as a threat to India's security, and especially in the context of Northeast. So therefore, having an iron, at least in terms of influence, India must be decisive in playing the outcomes that are happening in the region. India must play an important role, sir. Second, sir, I would say is also with regards to if we make an extension to Indira Gandhi ji's doctrine with regards to Burma or with regards to the larger developments that have happened, for example, in Sri Lanka or in Maldives, where India has played an important role whenever the internal developments.
See, this is a very generic perspective. What was the major outcome of Indira's Monroe Doctrine in Indian foreign policy? Major outcome.
The 1971 war, sir.
Indira Gandhi's period.
Yes, sir.
What was the major outcome?
So the outcome was essentially that it led to the creation of Bangladesh, and so it led to India playing a decisive role in the developments that are happening in the region, sir. And it showcased that if India's national interest is at stake, India would be willing to intervene even in the internal affairs of other nations to ensure that our security interests are prioritized, sir.
See, my last question.
Indeed, yes, sir.
Indira Gandhi wanted to position India as a major big brother in South Asia by liberating Bangladesh.
I see, sir.
So India played a very crucial role creating Bangladesh.
Sir.
Now, coming to the present, what is India so in Bangladesh next elections or next political party war is LBP? History, India has that role in Bangladesh. How has India's role diminished or increased?
So I would say the conditions in 1970s were a little different, sir. There was evidence of genocide that were happening, and the influx of refugees created problems for India in the Northeast and Bengal, sir. Currently, sir, that is not the case so far, at least, sir. And therefore, India has followed a policy of allowing developments that are happening in Bangladesh to happen in its own accord, which is that the general elections must happen, a free and fair elections must happen. And India has remained, I would say, hesitant in intervening actively in the politics of Bangladesh, sir. So that is the first aspect. The second, sir, is that India still has engaged with the parties in power as well as the transitional government, sir, so as to ensure that we communicate our interests as well, sir. So therefore, sir, these are the two nuanced policies that India has followed, sir.
Okay, fine. You lost this. So you were born in Alipur.
New Alipur, yes, sir.
So what is Alipur conspiracy, please?
So it was essentially by the Ghosh brothers, Ghosh brothers, Aurobindo Ghosh and Barindra Kumar Ghosh, sir. And essentially, sir,
When? Which year?
so year I am not able to remember. I will have to look into.
What was its significance in Indian history?
Yes, sir. It played a very important role, sir. The first is that it was one of the important revolutionary movements that are happening in Bengal, sir. And it inspired a lot of other revolutionaries as well, sir. For example, later on, we had Bagha Jatin, for example, who had come, and other revolutionaries also who took inspiration from the Alipur conspiracy case that had happened, sir. And so, second, I would say that finally it then led to the problem was so large in scale that British had to actually transfer their capital from Bengal, from Calcutta to then Delhi, sir. So I would say these are the two aspects, sir.
Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So good, Animesh. Your interview is formally over.
Thank you, sir.
So how did it go?
Some questions, sir, I think I did well, but some questions I could have brushed up properly, sir. For example, the Halwa ceremony as well as the Gorakhpur University things, which I did not know about. Perhaps that could have been, I should have been aware about those aspects, sir.
Okay. So last time you got 199.
Yes, sir.
So by how many marks you missed the cut?
So it was 7 marks initially, and then after the reserved list, I missed by 1 mark, sir.
Okay, okay. So how has been your mains paper this time?
So it has been better, much better, sir.
Better?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So a couple of observations.
Sir.
See, you know the subject quite well. You have a depth of understanding that goes in favor. So one thing we have to bear in mind, the answers should be crisp, specific and pointed. Like when, take for example, when the sir is asking what is Indira's Monroe doctrine.
Yes, sir.
So if we are sure, then only give the answer. If you are not sure, you can straight away say, sorry sir, I don't know.
Okay, sir.
This is what one should say rather than giving a roundabout kind of an answer.
Sure, sir.
Because we are here trying to see to it that you cross that 200
Yes,
figure, right?
Yes, sir.
So in that purpose, that is the requirement.
Sure, sir.
Second thing, your interview is on 10th February.
Yes, sir.
By that time, budget would have been passed.
Yes, sir.
So lots of questions can be expected on union budget.
Yes, sir.
19-20th February, India is hosting AI Impact Summit.
Yes, sir.
Next year, India is also hosting BRICS Summit.
Yes, sir.
Likely Quad Summit.
Quite summit. Yes, sir.
Before your interview, 26th January, Republic Day is there.
Yes, sir.
European Union chief guest.
Yes, sir.
These are certain areas you must be well equipped with.
Sure, sir.
Since you have opted for foreign service, India's official stand, remember, as per the MEA statements,
Yes,
you should be very much aware of, be it Operation Sindoor, be it Trump tariffs, all these neighborhood issues. What is you can explain. See, because you have been a debater.
Yes.
So sometimes you tend to go overboard.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong about it.
Yes, sir.
It's a good thing. But what happens? No, you should also try to understand the patience of the board, senior citizens across the board. You are trying to engage with them
Yes, sir.
in a very normal, cheerful conversation, right?
Yes, sir.
So that aspect will be of great help. Two things. You must be reading newspapers
Yes.
thoroughly. What is the concept of live lab and borrowed knife?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
If you had read the newspaper just a day before yesterday,
I see.
in the context of Pakistan, China, reference was to China that China was using Pakistan as a live lab through its armaments. 80% of arms supplies to China and then it being used by Pakistan.
I see, sir.
Borrowed knife.
Borrowed knife, yes, sir.
Keyword, since again you are interested into these domains, so you should be, this was the statement made by the Deputy Chief of Indian Army Staff, Lieutenant Raghu Raj Singh. He said these words exactly, that China has been using in Pakistan, India conflict as a live lab and borrowed knives were used, right? So things like this, because you have time, 10th February, this time, so go through these ideas and concepts. These will be a great help. Okay, sir?
Can you only give some feedback?
Okay.
Or you want to give?
No, sir, if anyone else wants to
Only
share.
thing that we should be aware of immediate surroundings. See, you belong to Gorakhpur, so Gorakhpur, India, your state, and the status is related.
Yes, sir.
Sure. That's all you can want to.
Use your hands while you're talking. You're sitting like this.
Yes, sir.
And you're leaning forward. Just sit comfortably.
Sure, sir.
Be comfortable. Moving your body like this, like this. That shows it nervousness.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
You've done very well last time. You do certainly better this time. Answers are absolutely correct.
Sure, sir.
Right? So just take care.
Sure, sir.
Even you are wonderful. In fact, Chairman already given the point. So I would just say that you have the potential to improve from 190 grams, right? Just remain focused and consolidate.
Any questions?
So the length of the answer, should I reduce my?
थोड़ा सा छोटा कर दो बच्चे.
Yes, sir.
See, it's quite good. See, you have a depth of understanding. थोड़ा सा उसको precise कर दो. So don't leave any scope for any further question.
Yes, sir.
You use Monroe Doctrine.
Yes, sir.
Indra's
Yes,
Monroe Doctrine came into picture.
Yes, sir.
So suppose that this is the art lies in how to navigate it.
yes, sir.
Precise, specific, close-ended. Period.
Yes, sir. Yeah, understood.
है ना? So we wish all the best and hope to see your name high in the list. Okay?
Sure, sir.
All the